Arizona. Josue Romero here. Welcome back to the Silicon Oasis Spotlight. And this is really cool to see because we have one of our ambassadors here today who's actually been on the Silicon Oasis Spotlight before, but before we moved studios twice. And we're really excited to hear from him today because it's been about 18 months of updates. Is that right? Please introduce yourself for those who don't know you.
Yeah, hi. My name is Jordan Fourcher. I'm the founder of CryoX. We make a passive daytime radiative cooling paint, which is just a very fancy way of saying we make paint that goes below the air temperature.
That is awesome, man. And for those who have never heard of you, this might be their first time. A little bit about your background. How did you get into?
Well, make a long short story much shorter. Had another startup, was making a wireless charger to cool phones.
Yeah, that is cool.
Had sourcing and supply issues with China, which was a big part of kind of the genesis of what I'm doing now. I'd done a lot of research on different types of cooling materials and interfaces. I remembered the radiative cooling thing. I read some white papers. I went back to it.
Yep.
Read more white papers. I read all the white papers. I was obsessed with it, and I was so obsessed. I'm like, I need to get some.
Yep.
Couldn't get any. Couldn't find a single person to sell it from. Couldn't get it online. Couldn't purchase it anywhere. All the companies, their websites just sucked, and like their contact forms were broken, and they didn't respond to their emails. I'm like, this is an incredible opportunity.
Yep.
What if I was the guy who made it easy to buy a revolutionary technology like cryo paint or radiative cooling paint, you know? And that's how I started. I was like, let me find somebody who has this IP, and because all the universities and stuff had it.
Yep.
And I'm like, let me just find someone who has it, who isn't selling it. I'll just sell it for them. And that's where we are. So today, CryoX is the #1 leader in sales of radiative cooling paint.
That's awesome, man. Because how long ago did you start this now?
I started this company almost 5 years ago. But we've really been, the first few years are like calibration, where it's like you got to, because the people who came up with this technology, they made it and that's where they stopped.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know what tools you could run it through. They didn't know when it worked, where it worked. In theory they did, but not in practice. They never put it on anything really, besides a little test splotch.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out from a commercialization standpoint, can you put this on a building? Can you put this on a car? Do you need a primer? Do you not need a primer? Do you need to scrape the surface first? Will it stick? Will it disintegrate? Can you put a top coat? All of those questions I had to answer. In the first 3 years, pretty much of the company was me messing around with it, doing everything I could to figure out like what its limits were.
Yep.
The do's, the don'ts. So now that way, when customers come to my website, I got a very long FAQ section, and most of that stuff is from experience.
That is, and I know I keep saying that is awesome, but it is because I remember when you first started out, it was that. I would see you on LinkedIn saying, hey, and I remember because I reached out for one of them, which was, who wants me to paint the top of their car? I want to test this out. And I was like, yo, and apparently my car had a sunroof since it runs all the way to the top. You're like, I don't think it's going to make a difference. But you 100% have those questions as a customer, because if I hear cooling paint, I'm like, on what?
Yeah.
How?
Is that?
Yeah. Will it cool my house?
Yeah.
Will it cool my trailer? Will it cool my car? And you went out and did that, which is the best way to do customer research, just product research, which is do it, execute, write it down, no. Or, hey, it does work. But what's been your favorite use case so far?
There's like most practical use cases, but there's also like really cool use cases.
Yeah.
So I think one of I've got like two that are really cool. One of them is nighttime electricity generation, which is crazy. Because cryo paint can essentially, as long as it's got a clear, unobstructed view of the sky, meaning no clouds and it's a clear night or day, it will transmit its heat to space, or more accurately, because of the second law, because space is cold and Earth is warm, and because there's a little gap that we can exploit, the heat is essentially drawn. Just like you pop a balloon, high pressure goes to low pressure.
Yep.
Earth is warm, space is cold, the heat is essentially drawn. I say transmit just because it's easier for people to visualize, but it's really more of a pull effect.
Okay, cool.
So it's essentially, as long as you can meet that condition of having a relatively clear sky, the surface temperature will sit below the air temperature. Mm-hmm. Meaning at night, one surface that is unpainted will be at the air temperature. The other surface that is painted, will be 15 degrees cooler. That is a permanent delta. If you put a thermoelectric plate in there, thermoelectric plates are really cool because what they do is it's just like an electric motor, but for thermals. An electric motor, if you run a current through it, it spins the motor. But if you just spin the motor, it'll generate a current. Thermoelectric plates are the same way. If you put a current through a thermoelectric plate, it essentially moves heat from one side to the other.
Yes.
But if you make one side hot and the other side cold, it'll generate a small current.
Okay.
So if you get a bunch of these thermoelectric plates and you get some big plates of cryo paint on there, and you set it up just right, you can actually generate a small current. I mean, not enough to like charge a phone, but like as a proof of concept, I mean, you can, light up a little LED.
Potential for different use cases in the future is what it sounds like.
Though, it's powered by space. You can generate electricity from the temperature differential between Earth and space, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
more white papers, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool is that this was done by just like a regular person.
Oh.
Just somebody who's like, I have this idea, I want to experiment with it. And then a big channel called The Action Lab, we appeared on their channel. We didn't even sponsor or do anything with that video. We just sent him paint because I love his channel. And I was like, it'd be really cool if we got on his channel.
Yeah.
I'm like a big fan. So I was like, I love what you do. Here's some paint. If you don't want to make a video, or if you do, whatever, it's fine. I didn't know anything about what he was going to do.
That's cool.
He launches a video with our product, and it's like now everyone knows about our product. It was really big deal. But in one of his videos, he powers a Stirling engine, which is another childhood favorite gizmo of mine. Stirling engine is really cool because it's like the thermoelectric plate, but mechanical. Uses air pressure, right? Hot air has higher pressure than cold air. So you can use, again, that temperature differential to move a mechanical engine. So that's just one example of something really cool. There's another one too, just a quick shout out.
No, for sure, yeah.
There's like a hackathon, like a high school hacker team based out of San Diego that's trying to use our technology for atmospheric water collection.
Huh.
Because if you get the surface temperature below the dew point, you collect water. And they're trying to use it to save this endangered tree in San Diego by getting it more water from the air. So shout out to that team. That's such a cool project, and I wish them the best of luck.
Dude, these are all cool updates because not only are they just product updates, it's what's possible once the first step has proof points. And with that said, I would love to know, what are the most exciting updates that you have on CryoX since the last time we spoke? Yeah,
well, I mean, since the last time we spoke, we've done a lot more in sales, but I think more importantly to me than the money is really the amount of customers and the amount of people who have access to this technology. Because one of the core goals of CryoX is the accessibility of radiative cooling technology. Because that was the problem, right? That was the genesis. That's why I got started. Because I couldn't get it. No, you had to be some white coat, guy with a university backing you to get this. It's like, why are we gatekeeping this?
Yeah, I was gonna say gatekeeping was the word I was about to use exactly.
Yeah, it's like, why are we gatekeeping? It's safe. Our paint is water based. It's safe. It's easy to use. It's not radioactive. It's some people think it is, but it's not radioactive. There's no reason why people can't just buy it. Yeah. And that's what we changed. And I mean, to date, we're at over 500 customers. I think we're almost close to 1,000 customers. For the year, which is huge. That's 1,000 more people who didn't have it.
Yeah, just 1,000 more licks of CryoX paint everywhere around the country,
and they're using it for everything.
That's really cool.
I have people using it for very unorthodox things that our paint was not intended for, like putting it on garage doors, which I was telling you. It's like our paint won't go sub-ambient, but it'll stick close to ambient because it's the high reflectivity. But those customers are loving it, and I've got people putting it on vehicles. I got a few people with some work trucks, and they're like, "This thing's 20 years old. The AC's going out, but I don't care. It's got dings and scratches. I'm just gonna paint the roof."
Yeah,
and then they do it, and they're like, "This is awesome."
I think I saw. You can correct me if I'm wrong. On a trailer, I think someone left a review about a trailer on yours, and I was like, "Hey, that's so cool!" Just to see. Again, I want to call it a monkey see, monkey do moment, because if I had that paint, which we can buy now, I guess, so I should order some.
You definitely can.
You just put it on something, you're like, let's see if it works. And you just sit there, you're like, yo, I'm going to go write a review about this. The cool thing about products like that is that, one, if they work, I don't want to say they sell themselves, but largely people want to tell others about it. I've hated the whole build it and people will come scenario. Right, you chuckled there, which I love. But of course it's not. I don't think it's ever really been like that. But with enough perseverance, grit, testing, once you finally get it out to market, once people have their own proof points, then they begin saying, oh, okay, then I'm going to tell my friend who tells his friend, and then so on and so forth.
Well, on the build it and people will come thing, I think that's really funny because it has not been the case for us. We've had to do a lot of advertising, a lot of outreach. Sometimes I'll see it like on X, people will like we kind of sort of went viral on X, I guess. Like one of my customers who's working on a really cool use case.
That's cool.
Did like an X post and he's like, new commercialized wonder material just dropped.
And I think I saw the tagline.
Yeah, and I looked in the comments. Some of the people were like, "I've been seeing these ads nonstop." I'm like, "Well, that's good for me.
It's working." Yeah, but my impressions.
You know, the only way to get from 0 customers to 1,000 customers is you got to run ads. That cuts into your margin, it makes things tough. But at the end of the day, that's fulfilling our objective.
Yeah,
we are 1,000 more customers than we had last. I mean, over the past few years. Our total number of customers, like annually, was like 15 to 20. So our Rolodex was approaching like 50 customers.
Gotcha.
Between January and right now, we're a little bit over
let's call
halfway
it 8
through
months,
the year.
right?
8 months, we're at 1,000 customers.
Awesome.
That's a huge increase, and that's been the goal. I'm very happy to see that number, and I think it's just a start.
It's interesting because being in a middle class environment, in my opinion, lets you see what people can actually afford and want to use. When you grow up in an environment in SF or NYC or Boston, you think of, the problem of the problem of the problem often. And I've seen that, right? They say, oh yeah, this helps coders do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, that's great for the market that you're hitting. Mm-hmm. That's not going to be a $1 billion company. No one's going to use that. No normal person's going to use that. And what I love about CryoX, and I always brag on about inked greetings because we just do greeting cards at $3.99, which are very affordable for everyone across the country, is that people can, again, grab the paint and just use it and sit there and test it. Literally. No science needed. No SaaS subscription. No $2,000 treadmill that accompanies it. It's just roll it on and you go, hey, it works.
Yeah. And we're really trying to, I mean, when you look at like relative other options for people, like some people are like, oh, just use a white paint. It's like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's really not. Like I actually did the research and put this on my webpage, CryoX.co. I did the research and I pulled out the published ranges of temperatures observed at about 100 degrees for different types of common materials, including white paint.
Yeah.
And it's like not even close. Like you look at the lineup and it's like none of them get close to ambient, first of all. And none of them can do subambient.
Yep.
You know, I mean, white paint is going to be much higher. I mean, we're getting a delta 30, 40, 50 degrees difference between our surface temperature and something like a white paint.
Yep.
And I think I forgive people for thinking that white paint goes ambient or even subambient. But at some point, people got to learn that it's just not how it is, because people don't live in the thermal world.
Correct. I guess that's fair. I was going to say, I mean, I don't even study that stuff, but to a degree, you got to be like, I mean, paint is paint. Sure, white might make a difference from black, but
people don't think about it. It's like a cognitive dissonance.
That's fair.
And because it's my job, I'm hyper aware of it all the time. I can almost like see in thermal, you know, like I like in a room, I'm like, I know the room is hot because of that. Because of that wall, because it's running solar radiation. I could bet you if I pointed a thermal camera at it, it'd be bright orange. Sure enough, if I do, it's bright orange, right? Like it's like that's my world. I'm used to it. But the average person doesn't need to and probably shouldn't care.
Monkey see, monkey do. That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is like when things get uncomfortable and hot and you're sweating. And I think people deserve comfort. I think people do. And I think people deserve to have an environment that is pleasant. I think that's cool. And people talk about things should be a human right. Like, I don't think what I'm saying here should be a human right, but I think people should think about it more.
To your point, right? It shouldn't be a human right, but to access a greater level of comfort, it shouldn't be that expensive either, which I think it's a very fair price point to completely cool an area.
Yeah, people get a little bit of sticker shock when they see the price of our product, but they should understand that like when you actually do like the price per square foot calculation, we're in line with performance coatings.
Yep.
Across the board. And we're pretty close to like elastomerics, like cool roof coating elastomerics, but we beat them by a lot. Like a cool roof coating elastomeric is not going to get ambient. It's definitely not going to get sub-ambient. And here's the thing about why sub-ambient is important, is because it's actually like an engineering hack. If you think about a box is like a thermal model, like a physics free body diagram. You have your inputs and then you have your outputs, right? A lot of insulation, that kind of stuff, it's really just trying to limit your inputs, but it doesn't get rid of them.
Yeah.
What cryopaint does is it essentially has a negative watts per meter square number, essentially, because it can go sub-ambient. And that allows you, instead of just trying to limit your inputs as much as possible, why not just introduce a big output?
Yeah.
Why not just do that? It changes the math. It changes the engineering. So when I talk to engineers, I propose that cryopaint is not just like a white paint.
Yeah.
It is a third option for engineering your thermal design. It is a third that they didn't have before.
Yep.
There's engineers and designers and architects all across the country and the world that are banging their heads against the wall trying to figure out how to fit an insulation peg and a radiative cooling hole. And it doesn't work, right? At some point, you need a negative number in your equation. And radiative cooling allows you to do that without adding the cost of something like an active cooler, like an air conditioning unit that uses electricity, or the price of it, or the space of it, or the durability, or the lifespan, or whatever. There's so many issues that come with using something that uses electricity. Yes, it can move the heat, but it's really only number one. Air conditioning only addresses your air temperature. It does not address your radiant heat. The way I've actually been explaining this in a funny way to customers, where go to a grocery store, air temperature in the grocery store, 70 degrees, wonderful.
Yep.
You got a chicken, rotisserie chicken under the heat lamp. What's that chicken's temperature? Really hot. It's like 100 something, right? That's the difference. Air conditioning is just addressing the air temperature.
Yep.
But that chicken is subjected to radiant heat.
Interesting.
And that radiant heat is independent of the air temperature.
Correct.
A lot of us are chickens under a heat lamp all day long. We get into our car, we're chickens under a heat lamp.
Yep.
We get into a house, we're chickens under a heat lamp. You're in a shipping container. You're in a work truck. You're in a van. You're in a bus. You're a chicken under a heat lamp. The air is conditioned, but the radiant heat is not addressed. It's not addressed. And what radiative cooling allows you to do is address radiant heat.
Yep.
And I think that's another game changer that allows people who aren't really familiar with thermals to view heat in a new way. It's not just the air temperature. It's the heat coming off of objects. It's the heat coming off the wall that goes right through the air and radiates your skin and radiates you and makes you feel way hotter. So what radiative cooling is awesome for is reducing the feels like temperature.
Okay.
So you can have your air conditioning cranked up and you're spending tons of dollars every day and the mechanical wear and all that stuff on your air conditioning. What if you were able to turn your air conditioning to 70 and it actually feels like 70 in the room, rather than you're having to turn it to 65 to make it feel like 70?
Okay.
See?
Yeah.
So you can actually start saving money in that way and actually being more comfortable, right? I've got this problem in my apartment. I set the house to 67. In my room is like literally, I have a thermometer on the wall.
Yeah.
Of course. The wall is 85.
That's crazy.
The wall is 85 despite the fact that the air temperature in the room is, closer to 70. But it feels a lot hotter than 70 in that room.
Yeah.
If I could set my air conditioning for the entire house a little bit higher and it would actually feel like that temperature that it's set to, I would save so much money on my AC bill.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I haven't thought of it in that perspective of you're just addressing how it feels, not what it is.
Well, we're addressing what it is, but a part of it, the part that's often ignored, the radiant heat is ignored too much in the thermal calculation.
And that's what I'm referring to in when I say what it is, which is if the walls are 90 degrees.
This wall, oh my God, that wall's hot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the walls are 90 degrees, you can blast all the air you want, but you're in a heat box. You're battling against the heat. Yeah. Dude, these have been some awesome updates, and I know we're coming up on time here, but any last things you'd love the world to know about CryoX and where you guys are at?
Well, I mean, just if you're not familiar with our product in our lineup, Cryo Paint is a water-based passive daytime radiative cooling paint. It's safe. It's easy to use. You can run it. You can use a roller if you want to do something small. You can use a pretty high-powered spray gun if you want to do something bigger. It will take your surface temperature up to 15 degrees below the air temperature, so long as it has a clear, unobstructed view of the sky. That is what our product is. We have it in 4 sizes right now. We have a little tiny 4-ounce sample. Actually,
cool.
Can paint about 3 square feet.
Yeah,
2 to 3 square feet. And that's really easy for people to get into. It has free shipping. It's $20 and it's on Amazon.
Oh, cool.
And we also have a quart size. So the quart covers about 30, 40 square feet.
Yeah.
We have a gallon size that covers 128 square feet at our recommended amount. And we got a 5 gallon. So
nice.
So we have the full range lineup for whatever your project is. And I think something people should know is that you can contact me directly from our website, cryox.co, and I will help you with whatever your project is. If you have technical questions, if you want to run the math by me, if you just want to talk about radiative cooling, I'm here to help.
Nice.
Like I have all of this information and knowledge and know-how about this technology. And again, we're not into gatekeeping.
Dude, Jordan, thank you so much. Love how much you're into it for helping people. Again, you would think that's something that's obvious about building technology. It's not. So thank you so much for coming on our show, my man. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Guys, where can they find you? Website.
The website for CryoX is cryox.co.
Welcome up, everyone. Thanks so much for watching this edition of the Silicon Oasis Spotlight, and we will catch you next time.